Middle Passage by Maisha Batan. They stumbled their way through dense forest, night rising from thick underbrush, shrubs and branches digging at arms and thighs, leaving. They stumbled their way through dense forest, night rising from thick underbrush, shrubs and branches digging at arms and thighs, tearing the few remaining covers from their most private places. And the air was filled with the lunatic calling of birds and insects. And the constant moon rose again and again through ragged branches of disillusioned trees. Where are our gods? They cried. What will become of us? On the shore, time moved backward and forward on a cacophony of waves and wild calling of sailors splashing their way back and forth to the tall ships hovering menacingly at the shore. What will become of us? They cried. We who have been gathered up with the dawn and sold amid the clamor of shouts of foreigners drinking palm wine and eating the fruit of generous mangoes, we who are now left like shells on the shore by tides since departed. On the ship, the decks were full of them, men and women, young and old, packed tight and randomly bleeding under the night sky, the only veil over their nakedness. And their skin peeled and fell away, and their bones softened with disuse, and the iron shackles cut their flesh raw and ripped into the entrails of their lives. Where are our gods? They asked themselves, and the moon rose again and again, dislodging the gods from their moorings. And the gods grew weak and moaned, much like the wind that once played through the ancient yew trees. And the men and women reached to them, screaming the name of these gods. Ogun, Shango, Obatala, Hodola, Mer, now floating upward on a wave of prayer and disbelief. And their cries now lost on the wind only had an internal meaning, and their sighs were lost among the listless wandering of the stars. And the gods grew restless and ashamed, and the gods rearranged themselves in the darkness. They cry for death now, these men and women who played loose with their lives, believing in their immortality and in ancestors now left to their own devices on vanishing shores. They too have known pleasures of soft beds of leaves and giving themselves to young love, and paid their sad-eyed cows for the privilege of being close through the night. Perhaps we have died, they say to themselves, in this swaying sarcophagus. Perhaps we have died, and they say to themselves, in this swaying sarcophagus. In this swaying sarcophagus. Perhaps we have died, they say to themselves, in this swaying sarcophagus. is only the middle passage from the old life to the new. Surely the gods will come and lift us up. But the babies have little faith and breath, and only a short time this putrid air, then abandon their tiny lives for a pure air of an uncertain immortality. Where are our gods? They screamed. And the distant moon. Where are our gods? They screamed. And the distant storm on the waves speaks with an unfamiliar tongue. And the chief stumbles and falls before the captains. And the chief stumbles and falls before the ship captain, begging food and water for the last survivor of his deserted village. And the gods bow down, gruffling and scruffling at the feet of drunken sailors, perhaps preoccupied with fornication. Their words, not mine.